This message brought to you by Chicanos por la Causa.
Órale, familia, friends, fans, and followers. You tuned into LA Boulevard News, a Latino USA TV and media production. Your award-winning TV streaming platform. We bring you your stories, your experiences in your spaces told by you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give credit and recognize our sponsor, Chicanos por la Causa. Thank you for your strong support in making this possible. We have a very special guest today, and I am excited for this next and coming visitor and special guest, Maria Perez. She has a very interesting story, and let's jump right into it. Maria, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Art.
We appreciate you, and we want to let our audience know a little bit about you. Why don't you start at the beginning? Tell me where you're from.
So I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I was the oldest of 4 kids my mom had. By the time she was 22, she had 4 of us. But yeah, and my parents, we were raised in South Phoenix up until the age of 7. My mom was with us, and then after that, my parents separated, got divorced and stuff. About a year later, my mom, couldn't be a mom anymore, so she left us with my tia. And then after that, when my dad got his stuff stable, he got with my stepmom. They got married. We went to live with them, and we were raised by my dad and stepmom for after the age of about 9.
Nice. Yeah. You're telling my story because for a lot of Chicanos and for a lot of raza, we come from unstable homes. Sometimes they're broken up at an early age. Sometimes we don't know our fathers and da-da-da. But it's still our story. And we survived through that. Even with all the pain and all the suffering, there's still light at the end of the tunnel. And it's a learning experience.
It is.
So what did you learn out of that?
I learned to be a mom at a very young age because I had being the oldest female, I had to take care of my siblings, make sure they're okay. That's been my whole life still, make sure they're okay even now. But yeah, I learned to be a grown-up pretty quick. So I really didn't get into trouble at all because I was always having to be the responsible one, making sure they weren't getting in trouble. So yeah, and moved around a lot as a kid. Went to like 7 elementary schools, 3 high schools. So I moved around quite a bit, but I was able to get through that and get my education.
It's tough. It's tough going through schools after school, because you don't have a school friend that you have since childhood, and you're always making new friends. And with that comes an ability to be flexible and to be able to adapt. And so you became a leader, and you became a parent, and you became responsible at an early age. We miss, you and I both, I'm the oldest of 10 children, and I was always taking care of somebody también. And my dad told me, make sure you take care of the 3 girls, the youngest. Your sisters, don't let nothing happen to them. So I was always protecting folks and taking care of them, which leads me into the activism. But I didn't have the schooling that I understand you did. So right from there, you went into school, ¿verdad?
Yeah, so I always looked at school. That was like my getaway. In a way, I enjoyed school. I love learning. So it was the getaway for me. I was able to be a kid at school. I was able to be around other kids my age and stuff, not always having to be taking care of somebody. So I dove into school quite a bit, and I loved it. Always got good grades and stuff, Then you go back home, you have to be the responsible one again. But yeah, I did very well, and even moving through various schools, I was pretty much a straight A student. I got a B here and there. But I went to the 3 high schools, and after that, I enrolled at Arizona State, so I got scholarships to go to Arizona State. Got a few student loans, so I had to get that paid back with my military, but we'll get to that later.
And you majored in?
Psychology was my first degree. My bachelor's degree was in psychology.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. She just went over that real smooth. She said, my first degree. So how many degrees do you have?
A total of 3. So I have 1 bachelor's and 2 master's degrees.
Wow. 3 degrees. The only 3 degrees I know is my deodorant. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my first was in psychology. My second degree, I actually got it while I was active duty in the military. I finished it in Iraq, actually.
Okay, so you let's make that jump and that transition. So you went at 25?
After I got my bachelor's degree, I joined the Army. My thought I had been in the military way back in the late 50s, early 60s, you know, before my mom was born. And 9/11 had happened in 2001. I was in school getting my bachelor's degree, so right after I finished it in 2003, I still spent about a little over a year, and then I enlisted in the Army. So I actually enlisted instead of going officer. I wanted to.
So you come from a family of veterans.
My grandpa, yeah,
and
extended family.
And extended,
yeah.
but Raza has a history, veterans and military service, and you continue with that tradition, that heritage, that culture, part of your culture. And what branch of the military did you go into?
U.S. Army.
You went in there, yes. So today I'm wearing my Army gear, and I still have my original dog tags from '72 in honor of our guest today, and in honor of all our veterans out there that serve. We want to thank you and Maria. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that, because you have a very interesting story. The patriotism led you into the military.
Yes.
And your sense of duty and responsibility to represent this country and give us freedom. Where did that take you?
So I enlisted in 2005, and I was stationed at Fort Drum, New York, in the 10th Mountain Division, 10th Combat Aviation Brigade. Served there my entire time, 7.5 years.
For those of you who don't know, in English, what does that mean? You did the aviation thing?
I was in the aviation brigade, and we deployed back then. Since it was after 9/11, the unit deployed every other year. So every other year you were in Iraq or Afghanistan.
So you went into the military and went to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yes.
And saw combat.
Indirectly, yes.
Indirectly, yeah. Okay, so continue with that side.
Yes, so I was in Iraq, deployed in 2008 to 2009. We got mortared almost like often there in Iraq, but then we came back the next year. We had 1 year break, so then the 2010 we deployed to Afghanistan, still post 9/11, of course, and there I was actually medevaced out of Afghanistan in February of 2011 due to medical issues, all kinds of stuff going on, and sent to Landstuhl when I was medevaced. I found out they weren't going to let me go back. I cried to my sergeant major saying I wanted to go back to Afghanistan. Who does that? Yeah. But I did that. Anyways, I was sent home back to Fort Drum, and I was spent about 1.5 years there getting medically retired out of the military.
Wow, yeah. What an experience that must have been. Let's talk about that before we close, because I find it very interesting. A military veteran,
yes,
coming out of seeing combat, being medevac, but you're a woman doing all that. How difficult was that?
I didn't find it difficult. I fit right in with the men. Like I was the first female that worked in the command group, and they kept me there the entire time. I was just part of the team. I never felt different, like I was the female in the team or anything like that. I was always treated with respect and everything, even in the military. Got out of the military, I went back to school again and got my 3rd degree in social work, became a social worker at the VA, working with homeless veterans in Phoenix, and now I'm here working at the VA in Loma Linda here.
And you also are part of, your husband and you both are part of a very special foundation. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we met about 10 years ago at the Phoenix VA, both working with the homeless veterans in the homeless program, homeless outreach. And he decided to start, when he was doing a prison outreach, to start a nonprofit, Operation Restoring Veteran Hope, and to help those veterans transitioning out of the military service. And I started helping him with it. And we do a lot of homeless outreach even here in California and Phoenix still. We go back and forth to help out both communities. So we have our heart there still. And we go to Skid Row here in LA. We do annual retreats with our veterans to take them out on a 3-day healing retreat up at Mormon Lake in Arizona. Thanks to St. Joseph's Youth Camp and the Knights of Columbus, they help us a lot with that.
Nice.
And we just do a lot for the community still now to this day.
Excellent. I just want to thank you and commend you. I salute you for your patriotism, for your service to this country, and especially for everything that you do for the community. You're one of those behind the scenes type of leaders who are making an impact and making a change, and you're a voice of reason, a voice of hope, and a voice of opportunity, and a voice of success. So to you and your family and your organization, thank you for all that you do. And si se puede, let this be a fine example, and let her be a fine example to you coming out of your darkness. And you can be in the pen, or you can go to Penn State. You can be in jail, or you can go to Yale. Or you can be in the Army, and you can go in as a child and come out as a grown-up, and be a leader in your community and make a difference. We thank you, and we thank everyone for what you're doing. And as we close out this segment, gracias from Los Angeles. This is your LA Boulevard News, a Latino USA TV and media production. Like, follow, share, and post. Tune in for more. And this is your West Coast host. I'm Art Limon, and I want to thank you, and I want to thank everyone else for showing and attending and being a part of this show, and especially to our sponsor, Chicanos for la Causa, for the strong support in making this possible. Si se puede. God bless you. We love you, and we'll see you there.
Tout pas de suite, Billy Charge of it. Ça me fait alors des 15 moments. Ça me dit avec lui. Je suis long.